In a small town 27 years ago, John made a life-changing decision to adopt 6 black kids, providing them with love, care, and a home. As the years passed, John never expected anything in return, but when his children decided to repay him, he was in for a revelation. What they revealed left John stunned and pale, questioning everything he thought he knew about his children. John's children were now all grown up and moved out, so when they texted him, they would come over. All of them at the same time, he was a bit worried. He wondered what could be going on, and his mind raced with all the horrible possibilities. But never had he expected that his life would change after that day. Later that day, his children arrived. They sat John down in his living room, all gathered around him, looking as serious as ever. John's heart raced in his chest. He had no idea what to think. He looked at his children, waiting for one of them to say something. Suddenly, Jaden, the eldest son, began to speak. "Dad, you know we've always been thankful for you taking us in when we needed it most," he began. John felt tears well up in his eyes, and he didn't even know why. Jaden continued, "Well, we have something to tell you." But why did John adopt those children? And how will they repay him all those years later? 27 years ago, John made a life-changing decision. He had heard about 6 children needing a home through a homeless shelter where he volunteered. John had been wanting to adopt a child for a long time, knowing he wouldn't be having one of his own anytime soon. He wanted to save a child from the streets rather than bring a new child into the world. So when he heard there were actually 6 children that needed a new home, he thought, what the heck? Why not? Who was he to break up 6 siblings? So, with the support of his community, he opened his home to these children and welcomed them with open arms. He still remembers the day he adopted them as the best day of his life. Of course, it was a big change in his life, but John had anticipated that. His home was big enough, and over the years, he expanded his house so the kids who had to share a room could eventually also get their own rooms. From the outside, it looked like everything had worked out for John. But you never know what goes on behind closed doors. As the children grew up, they eventually all moved out of John's house, like all children do one day. It was bittersweet, but inescapable. After the last child moved out, John sat in his living room, listening to the sudden silence. A tear rolled down his cheek as he thought of the years he devoted to his children, and the empty years to come he had to fill. A year or so passed, and John had found a new routine. He had filled his empty home with a new companion, a dog named Esther. The cute little labradoodle was exactly what John needed. He was busy grooming her when he suddenly got a text in the family group chat that the kids would be coming over that day. John was pleasantly surprised at first, as he hadn't seen them in a long time, but that soon changed when he realized all his children were coming at the same time to discuss something. Instantly, worst-case scenarios raced through his mind as he tidied his house, counting the minutes until they would finally arrive. When the clock finally struck 2 o'clock, the doorbell rang. John opened the door with a big smile on his face, but nerves raced through his body. He did his best to read his children's facial expressions, but they weren't giving anything away. If they had something negative to say, they sure did a good job of hiding it. After about half an hour, all the kids had arrived, and they were happily chatting in the living room. It felt good to see all his children together, and for a second, John forgot about why they were actually there. He just enjoyed the moment. But then, the nerves returned, and John couldn't take it anymore. "Please tell me what's going on," he suddenly said very loudly. The living room instantly got quiet, and all his children stared at him. John wished he never said anything. His children's faces were suddenly so serious, it scared him. "Dad," his eldest son began after a deafening silence, "you know, we've always been thankful for you taking us in when we needed it most," he continued. John felt a knot form in his throat. Where was his son going with this? "Please, just tell me, Jaden. I can't take these nerves," John said, half smiling. He wanted to keep the energy in the room light, but that wasn't an easy task. Jaden looked at his siblings, and they all nodded in agreement. "Well, we have something to tell you," Jaden continued. But then, suddenly, the doorbell rang. John frowned. He wasn't expecting anyone else. John could see on his children's faces that they didn't know who was at the door either. Slowly, John got up and walked over to the door. The tension was palpable as John walked toward the door. He quietly looked through the peephole, and as he realized who had rung the doorbell, he gasped. What was she doing here? John opened the door to find his old friend Linda, the social worker who had facilitated the adoption of his children, standing before him. Her eyes sparkled with a familiar warmth as she greeted him. "John, it's been too long," she said, stepping inside. The children's faces lit up with smiles, their earlier seriousness replaced by excitement. John turned to them, bewildered. Linda's presence marked the beginning of their mysterious plan. Once everyone was seated, Linda began to share astonishing news about the community that had rallied behind John's adoption journey. "John, you might not have known, but your decision to adopt these children didn't just change their lives. It inspired the whole community," Linda revealed. John's eyes widened in surprise as he glanced at his children, who were now nodding in agreement. They all seemed to be in on something he was yet to fully understand. Linda continued, recounting stories of individuals and families within the community who were motivated by John's actions to undertake their own acts of kindness. "Your love didn't just create a family. It fostered a community spirit of giving and support," she explained. John listened, deeply moved, as his children interjected with their own memories of the community's support, their faces glowing with pride and affection for their father. After Linda's revelations, the children took turns expressing their gratitude towards John. They spoke of the love, care, and opportunities he had provided them with, which had shaped them into the individuals they were today. Each story, each thank you, added layers to John's understanding of the depth of his impact, not just on his children but on the broader community. The atmosphere was charged with emotion, a testament to the bonds they shared. The gathering turned into a celebration of family and community as they shared laughter, tears, and stories into the evening. John felt a profound sense of fulfillment, realizing that his decision to adopt had set off a ripple effect of kindness and generosity. As the evening wound down, John looked around at his children and Linda, feeling a deep connection to them and the community. He was eager to see what they had planned next, his heart full of love and anticipation. The next morning, over breakfast, Linda began to share more about the times John's actions had inspired others. She recounted stories of people who had come forward to volunteer, donate, and even adopt, motivated by John's story. "Your willingness to open your heart and home became a beacon of hope for many," she said, her voice filled with admiration. John listened, humbled, as his children watched him with eyes full of respect and love. Linda pulled out a photo album, its pages filled with pictures of community events, volunteer drives, and other families that had followed in John's footsteps. "Look at the chain reaction you started," she pointed out, flipping through the pages. John was moved to tears, seeing the tangible impact of his decision years ago. His children leaned in closer, pointing to photos and sharing their own memories of community gatherings and support. As the day progressed, John engaged in deep conversations with each of his children. They spoke about their lives, dreams, and how John's values had influenced their paths. Each conversation was a revelation, highlighting the unique bond he shared with each child. These moments were precious, strengthening the connections that had always been the foundation of their family. John realized that the values he had instilled in his children, kindness, compassion, and community service, had not only taken root, but had flourished. "Dad, because of you, we know what it means to give back," one of his daughters said, echoing the sentiments of her siblings. These reflections filled John with an overwhelming sense of pride and hope for the future, knowing that his legacy would live on through his children and their actions. The day ended with the family gathered around the fireplace, sharing stories and planning future community projects. It was clear that John's influence had extended far beyond the walls of his home, into the heart of the community. As they discussed ideas and dreams, John felt a profound connection to his family and their shared mission. He was eager to see how their plans would unfold, confident that together they could make a significant difference. In the days following, John noticed his children frequently whispering among themselves, their phones buzzing with messages and calls. Whenever he entered the room, they would quickly change the subject or hide their screens. John's curiosity was piqued, but each time he inquired about their secretive behavior, they assured him it was nothing for him to worry about. This mystery only deepened John's intrigue and anticipation. Despite their secrecy, John began to pick up on clues. He noticed blueprints on the kitchen table one morning and saw emails about community center bookings on an open laptop. These glimpses into their plans sparked his imagination. What were his children orchestrating? John felt a mix of excitement and frustration, eager to be part of whatever they were planning, yet touched by their desire to surprise him. The atmosphere at home became charged with anticipation. John could sense something big was on the horizon. His children's excitement was palpable, their energy infectious. Even Esther, the family dog, seemed to sense the growing excitement. John watched as his children collaborated on their secret project, their dedication reminding him of the many times they had come together as a family to overcome challenges. As he observed their mysterious preparations, John felt a swell of pride. His children had grown into thoughtful, action-oriented adults, embodying the values he had sought to instill in them. Their secretiveness, rather than alienating him, only served to highlight the strong, independent characters they had become. John was content to wait, trusting in the love and respect that bound them together as a family. With each passing day, the mystery surrounding his children's plans grew. John found himself caught between respecting their privacy and wanting to be involved. The anticipation of the reveal was almost overwhelming, yet he knew that whatever his children were planning, it was done out of love. As he lay in bed each night, he couldn't help but wonder what surprise awaited him, his heart full of love and curiosity. Over the next few days, John took the opportunity to spend individual time with each of his children. These moments were filled with deep conversations that bridged the gap of time and distance. They reminisced about the past, laughed over old memories, and shared their aspirations for the future. John was reminded of the unique relationship he shared with each child, a testament to the strength of their family bonds. Through these interactions, John learned about the challenges his children had faced and overcome, the successes they were proud of, and the values they held dear. Each story was a reflection of the principles he had instilled in them: perseverance, empathy, and the importance of community. Hearing how these lessons had guided them in their adult lives filled John with an immense sense of satisfaction and pride. It became evident that the values John had emphasized, compassion, service to others, and the significance of family were not just words to his children, but guiding lights in their lives. They spoke passionately about their involvement in various community projects and their desire to make a difference, mirroring John's own lifelong commitment to service. These revelations deepened the emotional connection between John and his children, reinforcing the legacy of love and responsibility he had hoped to leave. As John listened to his children, he marveled at their growth and the individuals they had become. Each conversation was a reminder of the journey they had all undertaken together, from the early days of uncertainty and adjustment to the present, filled with achievements and shared values. These moments of reflection allowed John to see the lasting impact of his decision to adopt, not just on his children's lives, but also on his own. The time spent with his children allowed John to appreciate the full extent of their development and the depth of their character. He realized that the lessons he had taught them had come full circle, as they now shared their wisdom and experiences with him. This exchange of knowledge and love underscored the enduring strength of their family ties and left John eagerly anticipating the unveiling of their mysterious project. In the following days, John wrestled with a whirlwind of emotions. The anticipation of his children's secret plan, coupled with the reflections on his life's impact, left him in a state of introspection. He pondered over the years gone by, the decisions he made, and the sacrifices he had embraced. This period of reflection was both enriching and disquieting, as he grappled with the unknown future and the legacy he hoped to leave behind. John's curiosity about his children's secretive activities grew stronger with each passing day. He noticed more frequent gatherings at the house, discussions that ceased the moment he entered the room, and an increasing number of deliveries that seemed to pertain to the mysterious project. The secrecy surrounding their plans only fueled his imagination and desire for involvement, leaving him to speculate about the nature of the surprise awaiting him. The blend of excitement for the unknown and nostalgia for the past brought John to an emotional crossroads. He felt a deep sense of pride in his children's initiative and independence, but also a pang of sadness for the passing of time and the changes it brought. This emotional turmoil was a poignant reminder of the transient nature of life and the importance of cherishing every moment with loved ones. Despite the roller coaster of emotions, John's love for his children remained the guiding light in his life. It was this unconditional love that had driven him to adopt them all those years ago, and which now fueled his anticipation for their plan. He realized that whatever his children were preparing, it was a reflection of their love and gratitude, making the wait all the more meaningful. As the day of the reveal approached, John's anticipation reached its peak. The house buzzed with energy, and even though he was still kept in the dark, the happiness and excitement in his children's eyes were infectious. John knew that whatever was coming would be a significant moment in their family's story, a new chapter that would further strengthen the incredible bond they shared. In the lead-up to the big reveal, John started to notice an unusual amount of activity in their local community. Neighbors and friends began to drop hints about a growing movement inspired by his own actions years ago. Conversations were peppered with admiration for John's dedication to his family and community, sparking a sense of curiosity and wonder in him about what his children were planning. As John walked through the town, he was met with smiles and nods of respect. People approached him to share stories of how his decision to adopt and his continuous support of the community had touched their lives. These encounters filled John with a deep sense of humility and pride, realizing the ripple effect of his actions had reached far beyond his immediate family. The anticipation in the community was palpable. Local businesses and organizations began to show their support, contributing resources and time to what John could only assume was related to his children's project. This collective effort highlighted the strong community bonds that John had helped foster, showcasing the impact of unity and shared purpose. Seeing the community come together in such a manner prompted John to reflect on his own legacy. He had always hoped to make a difference, but witnessing the tangible outcomes of his life's work filled him with an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. The community's involvement and enthusiasm were a testament to the lasting influence of his actions. As the day of the reveal drew closer, John's family and the community seemed to merge into a united front, all working towards a common goal. This unity reinforced John's belief in the power of community and family. He eagerly awaited the unveiling of the project, proud of his family's initiative and deeply moved by the community's support and love. As the project's unveiling approached, John's family dedicated themselves to final preparations, their excitement contagious. John was included in some aspects, though the full extent of the plan remained a mystery. This collaboration brought a newfound level of closeness within the family, as they worked together towards a common goal, sharing ideas, laughter, and anticipation for the big day. While John was kept in the loop on logistical details, the purpose and ultimate goal of the project were carefully guarded secrets. He noticed his children in deep discussion, their faces alight with passion and purpose. This secretive planning added an element of intrigue and excitement, drawing John and his family closer as they navigated the delicate balance between secrecy and shared enthusiasm. The project became a true family affair, with each member bringing their unique skills and perspectives to the table. John was touched by how his children had taken leadership roles, guiding the project with confidence and creativity. This dynamic showcased the individual growth of his children and the collective strength of their family unit, reinforcing the values of teamwork and mutual support. As the day of the reveal finally arrived, the air was filled with a mix of nervous energy and excitement. Final touches were added, and the family gathered to reflect on the journey that had led them to this moment. John, surrounded by his children, felt a profound sense of pride and anticipation. The project, still veiled in mystery, symbolized the culmination of years of love, sacrifice, and shared dreams. The unity and purpose that had grown between John and his children in the lead-up to the reveal were palpable. It was clear that this project was more than just a surprise. It was a testament to the family's values, resilience, and the enduring bond they shared. John awaited the unveiling with bated breath, ready to celebrate not just the project's completion, but the journey that had brought them all closer together. The moment had finally arrived. John's children gathered the family and community members at the local community center, a place buzzing with anticipation and excitement. Jaden, the eldest, stepped forward to unveil their plan, a youth mentorship program named after John, designed to honor his legacy and extend his impact on the community. The revelation left John speechless, tears of joy and pride brimming in his eyes. As Jaden explained the program's goals to guide, support, and inspire local youth, John realized the depth of his children's gratitude and the extent of his influence. The mentorship program was a reflection of his values, a continuation of his life's work. Surrounded by his family and community, John felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. This was the surprise he had never expected, but deeply cherished. The community's reaction was immediate and enthusiastic. Many stepped forward to volunteer, offer resources, and express their support for the mentorship program. It was clear that John's actions had sown the seeds of a compassionate, engaged community, ready to carry forward his legacy. The mentorship program was not just a tribute to John, but a beacon of hope and a call to action for others. John took the podium, his voice heavy with emotion, to express his gratitude and share his thoughts. "This is the greatest gift you could have given me," he told his children and the community. He spoke of his journey, the joy of raising his children, and the importance of giving back. His words resonated with all present, encapsulating the spirit of the mentorship program and the values it embodied. The event marked a new chapter for John, his family, and the community. The mentorship program was a testament to the power of love, the importance of family, and the impact of community involvement. As the day ended, John stood amidst his children, grateful and proud. Together, they had created something that would nurture and inspire future generations, ensuring John's legacy would live on. In the days that followed, John threw himself into the mentorship program with the same passion and dedication he had devoted to raising his children. He worked alongside community leaders, educators, and volunteers to shape the program, ensuring it would offer meaningful support and guidance to the youth. His involvement brought a sense of purpose and excitement, reaffirming his commitment to making a difference in the lives of others. The community's response to the mentorship program was overwhelmingly positive. Local businesses offered internships, workshops were organized, and professionals volunteered as mentors. This collaborative effort illustrated the community's respect for John and their shared desire to contribute to the program's success. It was a powerful demonstration of what can be achieved when a community unites behind a common cause. As the program began to take shape, John worked closely with his children to develop a curriculum that incorporated life skills, academic support, and personal development. Their discussions were rich with ideas and mutual respect, showcasing the depth of their bond and their collective vision for the program. John's experience and wisdom were invaluable, guiding the program's direction and ensuring its relevance to the needs of the youth. John's legacy, once confined to his family, now extended into the broader community, touching the lives of countless young individuals. He saw in the program the potential to change lives, much like his decision to adopt had changed his and his children's lives. This realization filled him with a profound sense of accomplishment and hope for the future, reinforcing the belief that one person's actions can indeed make a world of difference. The mentorship program was a testament to the power of family, the strength of community, and the impact of compassion. As John and his children stood together at the program's launch, they reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. It was a moment of celebration, not just of the program's inception, but of the values and love that had made it possible. John felt a deep connection to his family and community, proud of what they had accomplished together. The grand opening of the mentorship program was a day filled with joy, pride, and a sense of achievement. Community members, families, and local officials gathered to celebrate the culmination of hard work and dedication. John was at the center of it all, surrounded by his children who were beaming with pride. Emotional speeches were delivered, each highlighting John's influence and the program's potential to transform lives. During the event, John took a moment to reflect on his life's journey. He thought about the decision to adopt his children, the challenges they faced together, and the love that had grown between them. Now, seeing his legacy manifest in the mentorship program, he felt a deep satisfaction and peace. This program was not just a tribute to his past actions, but a bridge to the future, promising ongoing positive impact. The community's enthusiasm for the mentorship program was evident in their active participation and support. Stories were shared about John's kindness and how it inspired others to give back. The event felt like a large family gathering, where everyone was connected by a common thread of gratitude and respect for John. It was a powerful reminder of how one person's actions can inspire a collective effort for the greater good. John was overwhelmed with gratitude as community leaders and his children thanked him for his lifelong commitment to bettering the lives of others. He was presented with awards and tokens of appreciation, but for John, the real reward was seeing his family united and his community thriving. His heart was full, knowing that his legacy would continue through the mentorship program and the values he had instilled in his children. As the day came to a close, John stood surrounded by his children, looking out at the community center bustling with activity. He realized that his legacy was not just in the lives of his children, but in the strength of the community he had helped foster. The mentorship program symbolized the enduring impact of his love and dedication, a living testament to the belief that family extends beyond blood, encompassing all who come together to support and uplift each other.